Hi there, my name is Malcolm Wilkinson and welcome to Millennial Meals, a place where we show you how to make delicious meals or treats right in your own home. Well, in this video, I was thinking of doing something a little bit different. So all the previous ones has been basically always meat oriented. Well, this one, I want to be sweeter. I want to be kind of like a more delicious, like almost like bite-sized treat. So in this video, we're going to be making puppy chow, or as other people call it, muddy buddies. So let's do that now. All right, so for ingredients, we're going to want to have powdered sugar, Chex cereal, dark chocolate chips, vanilla extract, creamy peanut butter, and butter, or you can use margarine. Now, kind of rewinding back to the ingredients, I want to talk about the Chex cereal and some of these other things for a minute. So for the Chex cereal, you don't have to use the brand, but what I would say is don't use rice, use the corn version. The reason being is that the rice, I feel like kind of gets stuck in my teeth and stuff, and overall I don't really like it. I feel like the corn has a better crunch to it. Now for the chocolate that we're going to use, you can use semi-sweet or milk chocolate, but in this case I went dark chocolate because I feel like I like that flavor better with this type of recipe. Now for the peanut butter, be sure to get creamy peanut butter. Now you could use crunchy, but I always feel like crunchy makes it a lot harder to mix all these ingredients together, especially when you're trying to coat the actual cereal. That's just my personal preference, but I would definitely say stick with creamy because it makes it a lot easier when you mix these four ingredients together in this small bowl. Now for equipment, what we're going to want to use is we're going to definitely want to have a microwave because that's going to be the mainstay. Kind of like how all the other videos we either had a stovetop, an oven, or a smoker. Well, this time we're going to be using a microwave. So in this video, we're going to want to be sure that we have one large bowl with a lid that we can fix on that doesn't really leak, a smaller bowl to fit these four nice ingredients in, or what I should say is if you don't have a large bowl with a lid, you can substitute it with a large plastic bag. In this case, I'm using one giant gallon bag. I'm just going to use this to store later because I have the bowl, but if you don't have a bowl like this, then you can use a giant bag, like a giant Ziploc bag, I should say, to mix up your puppy chow. Now for our measuring instruments, we want to have at least 1 teaspoon and 1 cup. And then as far as our stirring instrument, just a simple fork, because this is what we're going to be using to stir these 4 ingredients right here in this little bowl. So with that said, let's start making some puppy chow.
So here are the ingredients in detail for the puppy chow. 9 cups of Chex cereal, 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, or you can use dark chocolate chips like I did. And I also used a 9-ounce bag to make it a little bit easier for myself. 3/4 cup of creamy peanut butter, 1/4 cup of butter, or you can use margarine, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. Now keep in mind, you may have to use more powdered sugar than what this recipe calls for. So once you measured out your Chex cereal, you're going to want to put that into a large bowl and set that aside. Then with your other ingredients, you want to grab the smaller bowl and put in your chocolate chips, peanut butter, and butter. Then what you'll do is you'll put that in the microwave and cook it for about 1 minute. Take it out, then stir that mixture up. Then if it's still kind of chunky, then put it back in for another 30 seconds. If not, then you can put in your vanilla, then stir that again until that's nice and smooth.
All right, so now that we got our peanut butter and our chocolatey mix all nice and just look how smooth that is, now what we're going to do is we're going to pour this over our cereal because again, like I was saying in the beginning, this is basically going to be the glue that's going to hook our powdered sugar onto the cereal. So what we're going to do is we're going to want to have a wooden, like a little spatula with a little rubber top on it. And that's why I should have mentioned in the beginning that we're going to need one of these bad boys. So now we begin pouring. Now make sure when you're doing this, make sure you try to get it as even as possible. Because the more, when each, what I should say is with each cereal, the more chocolate that's on it, the more of that powdered sugar can actually sit there and just mix with our cereal, just hold that sugar there. So be sure when you're doing this, sometimes you might need another hand, but you want to make sure, again, I keep saying make sure, but it goes without saying that you want this to be as even as possible. So then each little bit has all that nice combination of chocolate, peanut butter, and powdered sugar. All right, so now things are kind of slowing down a bit. So what we're going to want to do is use our little spatula with a little rubber top, and we're going to want to basically get that extra chocolate, because remember, this ain't going to help us with our recipe or our puppy chow if it's just sitting here not doing anything. So just make sure you get that nice and coated on your cereal. And also, I will lie, this has been years since I've made this, so I'm looking forward to at least having a couple of bites. I can't eat too much, but I can't wait to try a little bit, because it's been years. This was like one of my go-to treats back in high school and college. And now I get to share with you one of my favorite desserts. And right now, this cereal is like, it's just coated right now. There's little stragglers here and there, but overall, it's just coated, and I can't wait until all that powdered sugar starts to get on it. So at this stage, when you pour all your chocolate into your mix, be sure you try to stir it up, because if you see any pieces that kind of look like, that kind of look like this, well, I mean, when we add the powdered sugar, yeah, a little bit of the powdered sugar is going to get on it, but not a lot. We want it to kind of look like some of these pieces, like maybe like, hold on, kind of like this. We want this piece to look more like these pieces. So when you're at this stage, just make sure that everything gets nice and coated, because again, this is going to be the glue that's going to hold our powdered sugar. And plus, why not have every little bit taste just as good as the last bite or the first bite? Okay, that looks so good. Now we're pretty much at the final stage as far as adding ingredients. Now in this stage, I'm going to add 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. Now keep in mind that you can use whatever you want until this stuff gets nice and coated. So again, as before, we want to make sure that we got this stuff pretty even. With this, I'm probably going to use a little bit more than 1.5 because I used a little bit more chocolate. But other than that, you're going to see why we have the lid, or if you don't have the lid, why we want the plastic bag. Also, this is kind of a messy thing, so be sure you have enough area to work in, and you might get a little messy. Luckily, I don't have anything on me yet. All right, now we start making the puppy chow. Basically, we baked and now we shake. So as before, like I was saying, make sure you have a big lid and a big bowl so you can put everything together and start shaking. Now keep in mind, if you don't have the bowl or the lid, you can always use this plastic bag to put your puppy chow in. But other than that, you start shaking. Now, like I was saying earlier, remember when I was saying that you might want to use more powdered sugar? Well, I think this needs a little bit more powdered sugar. 1.5 cups just ain't gonna do it. So, remember, this is up to you. If this is what you want to leave it at, trust me, this is gonna taste pretty dang good. Now, if you want it to be a little bit more coated with more powdered sugar, feel free to do it. It's better to do it now while the peanut butter and chocolate chips are all pretty wet and still kind of warm. So, again, just add as much powdered sugar as you want. Now, you could have stopped at 1.5 cups, but to be honest with you, I think Muddy Buddies need to be a little bit more coated with powdered sugar. All right, we're starting to get there, but I think it needs a little bit more. I know it's gonna be like a thing. It's like, it needs more powdered sugar, because we're starting to get there. Like, it's starting to get nice and coated. So I guess at this point, probably like 3 cups of powdered sugar, at least for the batch that I made right here. So we just begin again. All right, so this is what puppy chow should look like, at least how I always made it. Nice and coated. I should say that's definitely not 1.5 cups of sugar. That's probably about 3.5 cups of sugar. But oh my God, like the smell of it is just so good, and this is just bringing back all those days in college when I was like doing math homework and just had like one of these things to like snack on. But with that said, remember when it comes to the recipes, it really is up to you on what you want to use as far as like the amount of powdered sugar or the chocolate or the peanut butter. I mean, go crazy with it. I mean, experiment and see what you like. What I should say again is that, in this case, I was using, a large bowl with a large lid to shake this. Now, you could have done basically the same thing with a plastic bag, but I was saying have this on hand in case you don't have this setup right here.
Oh, also, bonus video. This is how you would use that plastic bag if you didn't have the large bowl or lid. But with all that said, this was Millennial Meals on how to make puppy chow or Muddy Buddies. Y'all stay safe and have a good one.